Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of AI and Oats, which is my daily show where I answer some questions about AI and react to some news articles about AI. And generally so called because I'm eating a bowl of porridge, but today, like yesterday, I have no porridge, so it's another episode of, I don't know what you want to call it, AI and soda or something. But anyway, let's get into this. But very quickly, who am I? Well, if you're new, you probably are, welcome. My name's Alistair. This is my YouTube channel where I teach Claude Code and Codex for knowledge work and business use cases, but I also run an AI consulting and training company called Dux. And if you'd like to work with us, if you run a business or you're senior in a business and you'd like us to come in and see how you can actually implement AI in an effective manner to grow revenue and your productivity, then feel free to get in touch through the link in the description. And I also have a school community where I go into even more detail about the actual skills and systems I use within Claude Code and Codex, and the link for that is also in the description. But now that the preliminaries are out of the way, let's dive into the questions. So essentially the way this works is during the day that I have a Codex automation or loop, whatever you want to call it, probably a loop because it does slightly improve theoretically, or maybe it's a graph, who knows, which goes and searches the web and scours some forums, finds interesting questions and news articles, and then puts them into this deck, and I come home and react to them. Ideally, if we were a big enough channel, we would have questions from our comments, but we're still too small for that at the moment, so it does mean that if you do leave a question in the comments, I will definitely answer it. But yeah, let's jump into the questions. So the first one is GPT 5.6 Luna Extra High or Max versus Terra High versus Sol Light for Codex after planning with Sol High, Extra High. Yeah, interesting questions. I would say, so I mean, fundamentally this gets the heart of the matter correct, which is that last bit, planning with Sol High or Extra High. I believe that is the most important thing. I mean, really, just generally, this is, you know, I've said it again, but I think it's one of the most important things to understand when working with coding agents like Claude Code or Codex, so I will repeat it. I'll say it all the time, but basically, to be efficient and stuff in terms of your token usage, what you want to do is have a very intelligent model, basically the highest level intelligence you can, which at the moment is probably going to be Fable 5, which I have started using instead of Opus 5 again. I slightly prefer it. Something like Fable 5 or Claude, or GPT 5.6 Sol. Those you want to have planned, so before you start anything, just work through them, plan what you're going to do, then they will come up with a plan. Potentially you want them to orchestrate subagents as well. Yeah, you basically do want that, but you also, the plan probably should be clear enough that subagents could handle it themselves, and then those subagents will be things like Sonnet, if you're working in Claude Code, probably, or like we have here, well, that's what it's asking, either Luna, Terra, or Sol. Now, to be honest with you, I think if you put an intelligent model in charge of orchestrating it, and you explain the token budget you're willing to spend on it, if you're willing to have it be if you want it as cheap as possible, or if you're willing to have it, slightly more expensive if that means high quality. If you tell the intelligent model that, and then it acts as an orchestrator of the cheaper models, from my experience, I would say it does a pretty good job of deciding which models to do, especially as long as you're clear about, I really don't want to spend loads of tokens on this or that sort of thing. So for something like Hermes Agent, when I run Hermes Agent, I have that do a lot of its kind of, I use Terra for a lot of that, and then only elevate to Sol when necessary. So I feel like Terra is pretty sufficient. My inclination would be to choose Terra over Luna for something like this, although I do think Luna is quite good, especially given how cheap it became recently. Things like automations, I have quite a lot of automations that run on Sol Light. I don't know, I don't think it matters too much, to be honest, out of these. I think, because what I will say is I haven't run kind of actual tests against each other of doing the same task, planning it with Sol, and then trying Luna, and then trying Terra, and then trying Sol Light to execute all of them. So I can't necessarily give a definitive tested answer. My inclination is you don't need to worry about it too much, but because you can just work it out with, if you have an intelligent Sol model, orchestrate it, or you ask Sol, what should I put in these, what should I use, I think it can help you work it out. If I were forced to choose one, I'd probably say Terra would be my choice. Although I'm wondering if that could be overkill, because even Terra is not too bad of a model. It's fairly smart. Combination of Terra and Luna, I guess, probably for different things. It's like, you know, sometimes subagents in Claude Code will be Haiku, sometimes they'll be Sonnet. So I don't think there's one size fits all for this sort of thing. But the fundamental important thing to understand from my point of view is have an intelligent model at the start as the planner, and then potentially also as the orchestrator of the subagents, and probably even as the final checking stage as well. But let cheaper models do the majority of the grunt work. Alright, on to the next question. How are you all using Codex? Curious about your workflows. And which model are you running? Right, well, in terms of the model, I'm almost always using Codex with GPT 5.6 Sol, which I do enjoy. Most of the time I'm running it on extra high or high. Not usually running it on fast mode, but sometimes. For a few things, and I mean, I have the max plan or whatever it's called for Codex, and I don't find that I run into too many issues even using extra high all the time with 5.6 Sol. I feel like my token spend is still not too high. What do I use it for? Well, quite a lot of things. Loads of stuff at the moment. So I probably use Codex more than Claude Code currently. In the past few videos I have slightly almost veered to the point of saying I prefer Codex to Claude Code. However, last night I feel like my Claude Code kind of started working well again on my computer, and then I remembered why I like Claude Code so much. So I think it's pretty close between them, but I'm still probably a slightly bigger Claude Code fan. I think I really enjoy Fable 5. Fable 5 does feel super smart. The other thing I have in terms of scheduled tasks with Codex is so it edits these videos as well. I mean, as you can probably tell, the editing is kind of like low, don't know what you want to call it, low fidelity, which is the aim, I will say. It's not just laziness on my part or Codex's part. These are just meant to be sort of me just rambling a bit, you know. We're really just here for the clips, to be honest. It's like TBPN. No, I'm joking. So it edits these, it puts together these boards. I have it through connecting to, this is something I've probably mentioned a bit in the past, but like through connecting to Instantly and that sort of thing, and using Firecrawl, it will scrape leads, and using Apollo as well, scrape leads, get contact information for them, make proof assets to send them, like a kind of like a quiz they could add to their website, or a reworking of their homepage, basically showing them a little bit of the potential of the tools like Codex and Claude Code, and then puts together email campaigns and sends them out to those. So it kind of runs automated, semi-automated at the moment, moving to fully automated cold email campaigns and that sort of thing. It also kind of clips these videos. Sometimes that's split a bit between Codex and Claude Code. So it clips YouTube videos, makes all the graphics for all my YouTube videos, basically makes all the thumbnails, handles all the uploading. So in terms of like this YouTube ending up on video in terms of this video ending up on YouTube, all I'm doing is filming it right now, and then the rest of it should be automated, so that basically all the next time I get involved is just me watching the final edit and saying, okay, that's fine, make a thumbnail and suggest a title, and then telling it whether or not I like the thumbnail and title, and then saying upload it. And so that whole thing is kind of handled by Codex. What else? I mean, in the past I've had it write X articles for me. It's connected to any image generation tools I need, so it can do kind of image generation. And I run pretty much all of them. I'm almost always using 5.6 Sol for all of these. What else does it do in terms of kind of... I mean, obviously I do loads of stuff with it that are maybe just one-off tasks. I'm trying to think of like repeated workflows for it around business, I suppose. I mean, it makes... yeah. What else does it do? I'm sure it does more stuff, but I feel like the YouTube example is a pretty decent example, as well as the cold email campaigns, because it handles quite a lot of those autonomously. So yeah, but definitely using it for a lot more than just coding. In fact, I almost rarely use it for kind of coding. Like, yes, obviously a lot of the things it's creating are going to be Python scripts and that sort of thing, but like in terms of like coding production software, I don't use it a whole lot for that. I use it often more for kind of handling a lot of back-end tasks like YouTube editing and that sort of thing. How do you manage Codex reviews when they keep stating that Claude plan is no-go? I'm not sure this is a problem I've had myself. I'm guessing that this is a reference to the Codex MCP you can get in Claude Code, and what you can do is tell Claude Code so you can plan in Claude Code and then get Codex. You just like sign in with your OpenAI OAuth, and then Claude Code can spawn a subagent that is actually using like GPT 5.6 Sol or whatever, and it can review your plan and suggest changes, and it's a very useful thing. I mean, the idea of having subagents review things is always good because they're coming to it with a fresh context that isn't kind of biased. But having another model entirely, or another, not just another model, but another labs model, is very useful as well. And so expanding on that, so I probably won't answer this question directly in terms of how you manage Codex reviews when they say it's a no-go, but just the idea of having other reviewers does get you a higher quality output, I think. Another thing you can do is get, you can set up an open router account and get the API key and give it to Claude Code basically, and then I'm pretty sure they're using that. Claude Code can spawn models, which maybe I've got that wrong. You might have to install something else, like a thing to, I think, well, Claude Code can tell you how to do it, but I'm pretty sure you have to install something as well to run local models, even though they're not local models because you're using the API key. Maybe I'm making this up, but no, I'm certain that I'm pretty sure I've got both anti-gravity, not that I use it, and open router available in my Claude Code in addition to Codex. I'll go ask Claude actually and see what it says. Right, yeah, so Claude says that, yeah, you can set them up, and it looks like I have set it up with Claude Code, but you need to like install this LLM thing. But that still means that Claude can call on it for you, as far as I'm aware. So that's pretty useful, obviously. And so while that's not a direct answer of this question, I do think it's a way to level up your kind of Claude Code, or Codex for that matter, is get the other models involved. And that's kind of why I'm still keen to finish building out this AI operating system I'm trying to build, where I want to have Codex and Claude Code and all the open router models available in one place, plus the ability to manage Hermes agents from there and see everything that's going on. So it's not exactly super innovative or that much of a novel idea, but I do think it would be useful. Anyway, that's a little bit unrelated. So that's probably going to wrap it up for today. Not the best slate of questions, unfortunately, so apologies about that. But hopefully there was a little bit of useful information there for you. If you did enjoy, please feel free to subscribe. And just, to mention it again, if you would like me to work with your business directly, then feel free to get in touch through the link in the description, or if you'd like me to coach you one-on-one to help you build out your own AI operating system in Claude Code or Codex, and whether that's for you as a business owner or just you as a knowledge worker of any type, then again, feel free to check out the link in the description. And then if you're interested in the school community, that's in the description as well. But thank you very much everyone for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.